All right. All right, we're here. We're here. We're here in the house. We're here. Um, we got a hell of a topic to talk about tonight. And I'm ready to get into this. I'm ready to get into this. Make sure I'm sharing this with my peoples. Sharing it with my peoples. All right. Okay. Let's see. Sharing it with my people. We're about to get into this. Yeah. All right. Hold on. All right. Okay. A second. All right. How's everybody doing out there tonight? How's everybody doing? All right. Those of you who getting this, please share. Everybody share. I'm on live. All right. So. All right. In the name of Amen the Supreme, the all powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and in Amen we continue forward forever. Good evening. I'm your host, the intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan, and this is High and Mighty Thoughts with me, the intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan. And tonight we're going to be discussing some real serious, real serious topic. And I don't give a damn if it's not popular. If what I'm saying is not popular, give me a second. I'm sharing something. All right. Internet's crazy. Give me a second. All right. All right. We're getting it together. Yeah. I share with my American indigenous peoples here. Those of you go out and please hit the link down below for the AI Festival, the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Hit the link down below. Yeah, we doing this. We doing this. We getting together for this. We're getting ready for this. Give me 1 second. I want to share it with my people. Okay. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Bear with me, people. 1 second. I want to share with I want all my people to share this on your walls. I want everyone to share this on their walls. All right. I want everybody to share this on their walls. All right. All right. So I'm going to be discussing tonight the death style, why black subculture worships criminal behavior. Why is this a thing? Why has this become a thing? This been a thing for a minute amongst our people. So I'm going to speak on this. This definitely needs to be addressed. This definitely needs to be spoken about. This death style. Why do black subcultures still worship this death style? I'm talking about the so-called criminal culture, which certain people are referring to it as street culture. All right. Mm-hmm. Let me get up lit up first because I want to relax and I want to talk about this in great detail. All right. First and foremost, I see a lot of these podcasts now, and I'm starting to see the rise of a lot of people going to jail. A lot of these podcasts up here promoting criminal activity amongst so-called black people as a so-called street culture. That's the word that's being used. Gang culture is now being called street culture. Criminal activity is being called street culture. Drug dealing, gang banging, whoring people out, doing all kinds of stuff, sex trafficking, all this stuff that now people are being put in jail for. People are turning up on podcasts and bragging about criminal behavior, criminal activity, or things they participated in. And right upon doing this, these people are ending up in jail. People are sitting around here glorifying that, right? People are sitting around glorifying criminal behavior. People are sitting around thinking it's cool to be a criminal, right? People sitting up here snitching on people, telling people, this anti-snitch culture where, again, criminal behavior is being promoted as a good thing amongst so-called black people. I call it the subculture of so-called black people, because you have a upper culture of so-called black people who don't participate in any criminal activity at all. So I don't want to say this is something that is attributed to so-called black people. I'm nothing. There's no such thing as absolutes, but I'm speaking to this young generation, and not even all the young generation, but it's starting to take hold because, again, you have podcasts out here and people out here supposedly telling their stories, quote unquote, about their gang activity and their gang life, and they're trying to make it seem like it's something cool. Very rarely do I see these guys up here saying, don't do this. This was the worst thing I did. I mean, you got some guys out here who had to learn, they learned their lesson the hard way, had to go to jail for 10 years, 20 years. Some people ain't never getting out. You got this guy, Suge Knight, right here. Suge Knight, he's doing interviews on the Art of Dialogue, and I was watching his content. I watch Art of Dialogue. I'm a subscriber, and I like the guy's interviews, right? I like his interviews, but he lately done had Suge Knight up here, right? And Suge Knight was basically one part responsible for that whole East Coast, West Coast on debacle that was taking place in the 90s. Now, I was around at that time, me being in my 50s, and when I saw all of that, I saw the rise of that nonsense, that foolishness of this East Coast, West Coast BS that was taking place, where you had a whole bunch of nobodies, a bunch of hangers-on who wanted to be somebody and thus participated in this foolishness, which ended up getting tied into so-called street culture, aka gang culture, right? And out of that, what happened? Suge Knight is in jail, right? Tupac is dead. Biggie is dead. And now finally, Diddy's in jail. Now, these are supposed to be established so-called business people, right? People who got into the entertainment industry to sell music, even though the music they sold was poison. They were selling poison to the people, selling disrespect to other so-called black people, the murdering of other so-called black people, or they say unalive and whatever, right? These YouTube terminologies. They were selling that mentality to so-called black people. You see young black people coming up. I was in that, I was in my 20s at that time, and I watched the rise of Biggie and Tupac and whatnot. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I never was a fan of none of that stuff. I never liked it. And even though Biggie was a talented lyricist, hands down, and Tupac, talented lyricists, they had their own style, definitely. Drinking out of my old end cup. It ain't for the old name, it's because I ran out of cups and I gotta get me some more coffee cups. But watching these guys in the 90s, trying to portray this persona of a thug and a gangster and whatever the case is, and all this street culture nonsense. Watching them guys do that, I always felt it was corny. I felt it was corny, and I felt it was lame. You see, because Tupac comes from Digital Underground, and he was never on no thug gang thug life nonsense. Not until he got into that role of Bishop on Juice. That's when Tupac started to change up. That's when Tupac started to change up with that clown stuff. I guess he went into being a character and never came back. But I always found it, I found it lame and I found it goofy. Why? Because I was really in the streets doing that stuff. I was really in the streets. From my street life was literally from 1990 to 1996. So I spent 6 years of my life in the streets, because prior to that, I was going to college. Even though I grew up in Brownsville, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the projects and everything. But I didn't get involved in street activity, as they say. I didn't get involved in that so-called, quote unquote, criminal lifestyle, which they call street culture. They always want to give it a different name to make it seem like it's something other than what it is. It's grimy criminal activity. That's all it is, right? And I was in that. So when I see people rhyming about that, actually rhyming about selling drugs and and busting your gun and doing all this other stuff and being all into that street life. I'm like, I find it corny to talk about that because I never bragged about what I did in the street. I wasn't, I was semi-known in Brooklyn and whatnot, certain areas, but I wanted to keep it that way. And I didn't even want to be known for doing stuff. But I knew it was a lot of guys who was in the street that did stuff, and we did it to make a living. It wasn't nothing to be proud of. I wasn't proud of it. I didn't walk around with, with that drug dealer or that hustler energy with me. I conducted myself like a regular person, a respectful person, and I didn't want anybody knowing what I did. I wanted to be strictly undercover when doing that. I never glorified that. So to see people doing that, to see people glorifying that life, to see people glorifying that life, it looked lame and corny to me because I'm like, all I was doing when I was in the street, and I'm being real, I was throwing bricks at the penitentiary, man. And I even went to jail. I didn't go to prison, but I went to jail. You see, and I did, I was on the island for 7 months. I was on Rikers Island for 7 months. And I'm not even gonna get into what I was there for, but I came home. Hell and I came home, but I was up on Rikers Island for some serious stuff. This way back in the 90s, over, I guess, going on there 30 years now. Yeah, about 30 years damn near going on. It was a different time back then. I was wild back then in the streets. I was about chasing that paper. I was in that trance. I was walking around like a black zombie, walking around trying to chase money, walking around glorifying money, trying to just get, and I was getting it. I was getting some money. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't no big time guy. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to my, I was flipping keys and all this other stuff. I was on my way to, and I played with a good piece of money. You see, I didn't have to work nowhere. I made my own hours, and that's what I liked. I liked the independence of it. It wasn't about me being into no street thing or wanting to be busting my gun or having to do that. That was always the last resort. I never wanted to have to use my gun, but I would. But I never wanted to. You see, I never wanted to have to use violence. I always thought of myself as a businessman. I didn't disrespect nobody. And again, I'm not taking away from what I did. I did wrong. I was committing crimes. And I was breaking the law. And I own it. I own it. I own that part of my life. This is before I would start teaching Mentellect and everything. This was before the year 2000, before 2010, before Mentellect came and whatnot. And that's what I was destined to do. So I left that criminal life alone. Like I said, literally between 1990 and 96, I was in the streets heavy. I was in the streets, whatever, But my point is, I hate to see people today glorifying that life. I hate seeing that. I hate rappers glorifying that life, especially when it's these guys. 9 times out of 10, these guys ain't really never did nothing. They really never did nothing. A lot of these guys telling lies, a lot of these guys making up stuff. And again, if you got to call yourself a thug, if you got to call yourself a hood, if you got to call yourself this, that, and the third, to me, you lame. It's lame. It's lame and it's goofy. Right? Because people that was really in them streets, Tupac wasn't really in them streets for real. He put himself in a situation around people that he had no business being around. Tupac ended up in jail because of his own stupidity, being around people and wanting to be around low-life degenerate people, who about that life, who grimy ass people, who really in that life, who cutthroat people. He was fooling with people in New York who he had no business fooling with because Tupac ain't cut like that. He wasn't cut like that. Not no digital underground dancer. He was a digital underground dancer. Let's just keep it real. Who got caught up in a character called Bishop and became Bishop and left his real self behind. You see, that's what Tupac is. That's who he really was. Some kid that got caught up in foolishness and stupidity and ignorance, sitting around here disrespecting your own kind, disrespecting your people, talking about how you screwed another man's wife, so-called black men disrespecting each other, somebody who you once saw as a brother, and you doing that all because of what? All because of what? You see? My point being is that Tupac, Biggie, where they are because, again, they wanted to glorify that street life. It never ends well. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Hold on. I really don't understand how people glorify that street life, and it never ends good for you. It never ends good for the people that glorify that street life. You see? Give me a second. Rolling down. It never ends good. I don't understand. Like I said, being that I came out of that, I look at it as a blessing. I don't talk about my old days in the street. I talk about sometimes my family and whatnot. You know, my wives, and you know, I had a hell of a life, man. I had a hell of a life. You know, I had a hell of a life, you know, in them streets and whatnot. You know, when you ain't got no money, you ain't got no resources. I came home from college. I did 1 year in college, and I had to hit the streets. I had to hit the ground running because my parents wasn't taking care of me no more. They was breaking up, going through their thing and whatnot. I ain't gonna go all into it, but I hit them streets hard, man. And prior to that, I wasn't in the streets, even though I grew up in Brownsville, grew up in the hood and whatnot. I wasn't out there in the streets like that. I was watching people, friends I grew up with, guys I went to school with, guys getting involved in drug dealing in the 80s. I didn't get involved in it until the 90s, like literally the 90s, I didn't get involved in it. But that whole early 80s, you know, thing that was going on, guys getting shot in the street, people getting their clothes taken from. I grew up through that. I went through all that. I watched guys getting their coats taken off their back, shoes taken off their feet, people getting robbed and whatnot. Hell, I got robbed for my fur Kango hat. I go back to that, man. Nigga ran off with my hat. He ain't just robbed me. Nigga ran off with it. You know what I'm saying? I got. I can admit that I got. You know what I'm saying? Nigga ran on. He had to run and take. I wouldn't chase the nigga. I went and just got another one. I went with $25 at that. Them Kangos was about $25, $30 at the time. But anyway, I digress. This was the 80s, right? And so I hated that life, right? The crack era. I hated that life. I hated growing up in that life, man. I didn't like that. You see, I made myself, you know, something I wasn't. I wasn't no animal. I wasn't no animal, no street dude. And I wasn't. I made myself that. I became that. I put myself in situations I had no business being in. And that's what happened with Biggie. That's what happened with Tupac. You had guys who was talented. They could rap. They had a persona. They could have rapped about anything. But they chose to rap about degeneracy. So I'm watching the Suge Knight interview, and Suge Knight still sitting up here. Here this guy, you know, was a good businessman, good at getting people out of their contracts and stuff, building his little company and whatnot, Death Row. Right. But that Death Row thing, it was plagued from the beginning, man. That whole Death Row thing was plagued from the beginning. Because number one, why the hell would you call your company Death Row? Why would you found your company in something, you know, as you know, something like death? Why would you call your company something like death? Yeah. So that shows what he was bringing in the music. You see, Death Row. You're saying that's, you know, some place where people go to die. Ain't that it? Ain't that what Death Row is? Death Row is a place in prison where people go to die, where they go to get put to death. Why would you call your record company that? Why would you surround yourself with a bunch of gangbangers? You're supposed to be a businessman. And he's sitting up in jail. He's still sounding like a whole idiot. I'm sorry, Suge Knight sounds like I'm no disrespect, but hey, man, it is what it is. He's sitting up here. This man is in his damn 60s, and he's still sitting up here glorifying the stuff they did with that bad boy nonsense. You a grown ass man. He sat up here talking about a story about how they beat up some guy. All these niggas that was with him beat up some guy who worked for Bad Boy, another so-called black man. You beat him up. The man had nothing to do with it. He just happened to be at one of y'all events. Y'all beat the man up, made him drink pee, talked about sodomizing the man, all kind of weirdo shit. And he sat up here glorifying this. And I'm like, wow. Wow. And then you wonder why your black ass is in jail. He wonder why he in jail. That's judgment. That's judgment. They wonder why Tupac is dead. They wonder why Biggie is dead. And they finally caught up to Diddy. They wonder why they in jail right now. This nigga gonna do 20-something years. They took his money, took everything from him. You see? And he talking about how these white people doing this, these white people doing that. These white people ain't doing nothing more than what you did. Don't blame the white people. The white people didn't kill Tupac. The white people didn't kill Biggie. The white people didn't make you go and align yourself with a bunch of gang niggas. throw away everything you hear is you sit up here and build something and you throw it away because you trying to be a character, something you ain't. Because anybody that's really in that life, anybody that's really in that life, the ones who sit up here going to jail, they got regrets. They got regrets. When I set up in jail, I had regrets. I was like, I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to die. This ain't my life. I'm not doing no 20 years in jail. I'm not sitting up here with you niggas. You niggas accepted and you do 20 years in jail. You niggas are a joke, man. That whole street culture shit is just that, a joke. And that code of not snitching, y'all all snitches. Listen, let me tell you something. Y'all all snitches. All them niggas are snitches. Once they sit in that chair and the white man tell them they ain't never coming home, everybody's snitching. They all snitches. And the only reason why the niggas that's in jail, the reason why they in jail and they can't get out because there wasn't nobody for them to snitch on. They was the kingpins, the ones who they really wanted. Those the guys that go to jail forever. They ain't never getting out. But trust me, they would have snitched. They would have snitched if they could have had somebody to snitch on. And it's usually the guys who always are talking the toughest shit, always want to be bloodthirsty, want to kill somebody all the time. The gun is always the answer. They want to do this. Those are the guys that end up telling on everybody. Those are the guys who are looking to cut a deal and snitch. They'll snitch on their whole crew. And then the whole crew go down. Everybody going to jail. Ain't never coming home. Going to die in jail. Right? So much for all that millions of dollars and all them jewelry and all that stuff you have. You guys end up dying in jail. You see? And of course, they want you, the so-called white man, the racist one, they want you to do that. They love to see you niggas talking about gang banging and talking that foolishness, selling drugs, all that degenerate stuff. They love seeing y'all do that because they got a cage waiting right for you. They always got a cage waiting right for you. So that's my question. Why is it that y'all find that death style? I ain't even call them the lifestyle. Why do you find that death style so appealing again? Like literally, when I watch Suge Knight talk, when I hear them, I said, this nigga ain't learned nothing. He ain't learned nothing. This dude ain't learned nothing. He don't see that he's in jail because of his ignorance, his stupidity, his wanting to be a big bully. Nigga, you supposed to be a businessman. You supposed to be a businessman. I don't want no gangbangers around me. I don't want no drugs around me. I don't want niggas talking about killing nobody. I don't want that. We a record company. Berry Gordy didn't do that. And Berry Gordy was a real mogul. Mr. Berry Gordy, shout out to him. That man lived to be in his 90s. He's still in his 90s. He's still around. I hope to meet Mr. Berry Gordy some way. What he did was gangster. If you want to use the word gangster, what Berry Gordy did was gangster. Berry Gordy had his own record company, not a record label. You see, there's a difference between a record company and a record label. You guys had an imprint. You didn't have your own distribution, so you had a record label. You was under the white man all that time. He's the one to decide whether your record's going to be distributed or not. You niggas ain't had no real company. Berry Gordy in the beginning, up until about the 80s, Berry Gordy not only had his own record company, independent, but he also had his own distribution. That's gangster. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Berry Gordy had his own distribution. Motown was a real record company. Death Row ain't no record company. It's a record label. Bad Boy ain't no record company. It was a record label. And they had to depend on these crackers to distribute their shit. And you would think, and of course, you know what a lot of these niggas had to do to get on. You know what they had to do. And then they want to play gangster and play thug. And these guys wasn't even that in the street. These guys wasn't that in the street. They trying to portray a certain attitude, a certain mentality. You know somebody who was really around in that life and was around them type of people, but you never hear him talk about it out of his mouth. You know somebody who was really around that? Rakim. From Eric B. and Rakim, he was really around that life. He was really around them people, Supreme Magnetic and them people who no longer here. Them guys who was out there doing that in Fort Greene, people was out here doing that. They don't talk about, you don't hear Rakim talk about that. You don't hear them talk about that. Right? It's never, they don't talk about that. You see, Rakim don't talk about that. He the greatest, he the God MC, the greatest MC of all time, Rakim. And he never had to talk about killing nobody or selling drugs to nobody or nothing because he had more intelligence than that. You niggas out here telling on yourself. You got this guy, Keefy D, sitting in jail, and here it is. He put himself in something that probably ain't had nothing to do with him, just for clout. You niggas sit up here and talk all this shit for clout. And then what happened? You niggas end up in jail. And then you got to go and cry, and you end up trying to get a lawyer, and you want to get out. You put yourself in jail, then get mad when you get there. Oh, the system, why are they doing this to us? It's the white man, right? No, it's y'all. Y'all put yourself in that. Suge Knight actually sitting up here laughing about how they degraded another so-called black man. But you supposed to take him seriously? He not supposed to be in jail? Free Suge? Free Diddy? These people disrespected not just themselves, but they disrespect the whole generation of people by selling them bull crap. Biggie was an intelligent person who could have talked about way more than what he talked about. But all he did was sell degeneracy. Right? All he did was sell degeneracy. Like this young generation today. All they do is sell degeneracy. They glorify killing each other. They glorify killing each other. All right? That's what they do. They glorify killing each other. It's cool to be a fool. You niggas are fools, man. You niggas is fools. Suge Knight is a big fool. And he ain't teach nobody nothing. He's sitting around here dissing people that he punked out back in the 90s and stuff like that. But I'm like, these people free. These people free. Snoop Dogg is free and getting money. You sitting in a cage. So how you gonna diss him? How you gonna diss anybody? You sitting in the cage. I would feel like a complete asshole to get up here and talk and whatnot. And you done blew through millions of dollars. And after all this, trying to be a thug and a criminal, you end up in jail. After all that, people taking your publisher, took your company and everything. That's judgment. You see, when the so-called black man do the wrong thing, because again, it's not in us. It's really not in us to be like the so-called white man. And I'm not gonna say all of them. But the degenerate ones, like I said, the mob guys, the mafia guys, because a lot of you guys trying to be like the Italian mafia. A lot of you guys trying to be like the Italian mafia. You look up to them. I don't know why. John Gotti died in jail last time I checked. He died in jail of cancer. He was only 61 years old. You see, he didn't even get to enjoy life. You got guys, these guys go to jail and die in jail, and then they asking for compassionate release. Where was the compassion for all the people who you killed? The people who you ordered to get murdered. Then when y'all motherfuckers get sick, they crying for compassionate release. That ain't gangster. You supposed to take your shit like a man. You ain't supposed to be asking to go home or begging to go home. I want compassionate release because I'm sick. So what? You see that? You see that? So what? These people die in jail. Why do you look up to people like that? That shit ain't cool. It's not cool. It's not cool to be in a jail with another nigga farting next to you, pissing and shitting next to you. That's cool. Because let me tell you something. For all you guys that talk all that gangster shit, when it's really down, if you ain't really gangster, because you know what the real gangsters do? They shoot it out with the police. They go on the run. They ain't going to jail. Real gangsters ain't really the real guys who about, they ain't trying to go to nobody jail. They gonna go on the run or they gonna shoot it out. Y'all ain't doing that. Y'all going with your hands behind your back. You going with your face down. So cut this shit out about acting like y'all such gangsters and all this other nonsense. You see? Y'all ain't no gangsters, because you know when the white man come with them handcuffs, you niggas going with your head down and you going to go get right in the cage like a monkey. Dying in a cage like a goddamn monkey. You see? That's cool. To not see your children grow up, to make broken homes, to have these females out here raising your children with no father, and they ain't got no guidance, because you already know what happens with women who ain't got no man around to raise the children. You already know that family's going to go to hell, man. You're going to have the daughters out here twerking and the son going to probably be a sodomite or another gangbanger, and he going to be in jail with his father. You see? Because you so-called black men want to glorify being drug dealers. You want to glorify being gangbangers. You want to glorify all that shit until the judge hit that gate. You want to be robbers and stealers, and you only do it to your own kind. That's even worse. Y'all do it to your own kind. I'm not saying don't do it to nobody. We're not supposed to be committing no crimes. Our people, we come from a great people, and American indigenous people, we are not criminals. The Europeans came over here committing crimes. They're your criminals. They're your first gangs. They're your first gangs, your menace to society, fighting in the streets. You know who occupied my neighborhood before so-called black people came up from the South and moved into Brooklyn? You know who occupied our neighborhoods? Brownsville, Eastern York. It was the Italians, the Jews, and everybody. And it was basically the Italians and the Jews, a little Irish, but it was Caucasians who occupied this. They was the ones committing all this crime. They was the ones gang banging out there, shooting people in the street, selling drugs to each other, sexually assaulting each other, all kind of madness they were doing. So they the ones that set the tone for the degeneracy. I'm not saying all, but it was a criminal culture there before we got there. And what happened? You so-called black people fell right into that criminal mindset, fell right into that criminal mindset. And next thing you know, y'all making it cool to commit crime. Like I said, every time I watch these little documentaries on these guys, everybody always end up dead in jail. I don't know nobody who escaped that life unscathed, man. I'm still a little bit scarred. I'm still a little bit scarred mentally from that shit. I was around, you can't help, but I let it go because, like I said, I was in it for real. Like in the street level shit. I was in it for real. But I always, whatever I did what I did, and I wasn't nobody worker. You see? But I saw firsthand these guys, but I wasn't around these people like that. I didn't go to the clubs. I didn't want to go to no clubs. I don't want to go I didn't wear no flashy jewelry. None of that. I was always dressed nice. I always had nice clothes. I was a clothes. I had all these jeans and sneakers and everything. I had all nice clothes. But I never was into the jewelry, the flashy stuff, because I didn't want to be labeled that. I didn't want people to know what I did or what I was a part of. I kept it on the low because like I said, it was nothing to glorify. You see? It was nothing to glorify. You see, y'all want to sit up here and be black versions of these degenerate Caucasians, the ones who came with that criminal culture. You want to be black versions of them. Instead of y'all coming together and figuring out how to make money in a positive way, in a lawful way, because you could have did that, and that's what Suge Knight did. They set up a record company. Tupac could have rhymed about all kinds of stuff. I get around. I like that. Before he became a thug, I get around. So Tupac could have rhymed about anything. You see, the man was a good actor. I'll shout out to him. Suge Knight was a good businessman. He made money for them. But these niggas, everybody want to be a thug. Everybody want to be a gangster. No, I'm a businessman. I don't want to be a thug and a gangster. I never wanted to be. I wanted to be a businessman. Because most of them guys, like I said, who was in the street doing all that thug and gangster shit, them niggas was punks, man. Without you catch these niggas without their guns, they punks, man. They punks. You catch them without their gun and no weapon on them and whatnot. It's just straight up hands. You got some hands, you know. But like I said, they was punks, man. I would let that hammer go, and I had hands. And I still got hands. But that's another thing. My point is, I don't understand the glorification of that death culture. I don't understand that. I don't understand the glorification of the death culture, because that's all it is. It's a death style. It's not a lifestyle. You see, these guys go to jail for, I'm like, and as far as I'm concerned, somebody lock you down for 20, 30 years, just like you dead. You dead. Life is going on without you. Your life is standing still. You living in a damn cage like an animal. You living in a cage like an animal. Somebody telling you when to get up, when to go to sleep, when to shit, when to shave, when to shower, when you could beat your meat, if that's what you're doing. If you ain't messing with a punk in here, you niggas out here surrounded by punks, or you got to play with yourself. You niggas grown men playing with yourself or messing with punks in the can, or hopefully you gonna get a broad to come visit you. That's your life. And let me tell you something. Dollar the donuts, all them niggas that talked all that shit, I bet you they would do anything to trade their life with me. They would do anything to get another chance in life, because again, they don't want to do the crime, they don't want to do the time, but they want to do the crime. Don't work like that. That's not a living, man. I was living like a scavenger, man. I'm selling poison to my people. And well, I never considered them my people, but low life people, I never considered my people. But still in all, it was inhumane. Let's just say that. All right. But my point is, I could never really totally get with that. Even when I got into that mindset in the street, I could never really totally get with that. I was going to be the type of guy. I was like, I'm going to get in this and I'm going to get out of this, man. You see, I'm going to get in this and get out of this, man. Because I don't like the death style. I was like, I'm not with it. I was, like I said, I was an anomaly. I was the guy who did business. I kept my mouth shut. I did business. I made my little bit of money. I was doing well. But I'm glad all that got disrupted. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad I took that fall and I had to go, sit down for a minute. But like I said, I came home in 7 months, but I'm not going to go into all that. I've been through all that. You would never know it. You would never think that to look at me, because a lot of people don't believe, they don't, for lack of better, they don't think I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the exactly straight truth. My life has so many parallels and so many different just so many different paths. It make your head spin. It'll really make your head spin. Went from college student to criminal in the streets to speaking and starting this community and raising my people. I had evolutions in my life. I'm still evolving. And I'm like, to see these guys like Suge Knight, these guys sitting in jail, he don't even say, damn, you know what? What I did, I was a complete idiot, which he was, because and you get that young people tend to do stupid things, man. Keep in mind, Tupac was in his 20s when he died. When he was out here being an idiot, up there spitting in cameras and throwing up the FU sign and all that other, and thug on his back and all that dumb shit, all that monkey shit. Like I said, he wasn't doing all that when he was locked up state in New York. And I know that personally, because when Tupac was locked up, I came right behind him. I came right behind him. So it was like he left. I forget when he got out. He wasn't even out long enough before next thing you know, he getting killed. He get put to death, man. He wasn't even out long. And that's a damn shame. You see, he just ran through life and wasted his life. He ran through life and wasted his life. Yeah, he was a good talent, man. Tupac had something special with him. He could have been an actor. He didn't even have to rap no more. He would have had acting roles and everything. And he just threw his life away. He threw his life away. Biggie was a good rapper. He threw his life away. These guys are good business. They throw their life away. It's got Irv Gotti, who just passed away. You want to call yourself Gotti after a white man. See how these niggas all want to be like the so-called white man, the degenerate white man, the criminal white man. You see, that's what they want to be like. This is who they look up to. You see, I looked up to people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I looked up to people like him, the real Godfather, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You see, the real overlord, the man who had an army, a nation within a nation for real. I look up to people like that. Righteous men, Mr. Berry Gordy, Mr. John H. Johnson. I looked up to people like that, man. Business people, people who stood 10 toes down and accomplished something in life, man. You see, who didn't glorify death for their people, but glorified life for their people. Berry Gordy made stars, man. He made stars. Diana Ross, the Supremes, the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and the list goes on and on and on. The Jackson 5, from which Michael Jackson, Berry Gordy made. So I look to people like that. And this man still got all his money. He's multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire, sold Motown, but the record company's in the toilet anyway. So he did what he did. He had all this publishing and stuff like that. I looked up to people like that. You see, people that really did it the smart way. You see, got to get to be an old man and get to see his children, get to see his grandchildren. You see, get to see his great-grandchildren and so on. He's still around, and he made all this money and whatnot. He started something that and changed the world. I look up to men like that. You see, I don't look up to no damn John Gotti or no Al Capone. You niggas, John Gotti was a goddamn racist. He ain't like you niggas, man. He calls you monkeys. And you niggas up here calling yourself Gotti. You see? You know? Elijah Muhammad looked like a businessman, organized man, structured man. You see? Metric man. I like that. I like that. Berry Gordy, I had people I looked up to, man. And I still look up to him to this day. I still look up to him as the OGs, man. You see? The OGs. Or I call them the OLs, the original lords, man. The first ones. Like I said, I didn't look up to no gangsters because I already knew them niggas. Gangsters are a dime a dozen. You got people trying to play tough and thug, and they, for some strange reason, they think they're invincible. Because let me tell you something, all the tough guys are in the cemetery. All the tough guys, all the thugs, they in the cemetery. You see, all the guys who want to be gangbangers, thugs, and bust their gun, they act like niggas can't get guns on them. They can't get the drop on them, and they can't get they brains put on the pavement. You see, that's why I say, you guys, it's no future in that, man. There's no future in that for you, your little young dudes who listen to these little young cats, these little guys claiming this set and that set. They all in that gang shit. You throw your life away if you want to. Throw your life away if you want to. You see, throw your life away if you want to. Somebody said Noble Drew Ali. Well, let me say something about that. No disrespect to Noble Drew Ali, but he really didn't live long enough to make a real impact. He didn't. He didn't live long enough to make a real impact. I mean, yeah, the Moorish Science Temple is around and all that, but it's the Muslims. Even though truth be told, because it's all about truth with me over here. I don't care how nobody feel about it. Truth is true. The Nation of Islam doctrine comes from Moorish science because it's nothing but Freemasonry and Islam mixed, which is really a Masonic form of Islam. Because trust me, I was Muslim, so I know what all that is. That's nothing but Freemasonic Islam that the Nation of Islam was teaching. That's why they refer to their mosque before they became mosques as temples, as in Freemasonic temple. They were Elijah Muhammad. Those terms, honorable, noble. Those are all Masonic Masonic titles. Those are all Masonic titles. Honorable, noble, master. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Mason. I became a Mason under Dr. York and them. You see, so I know what that is. But my point is that he didn't really make an impact. He died in 1929, man. That's way before my time. I got to actually see, even though I was a child, I got to see the image of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, hear him speak. So he's more modern enough time, and his nation continues on under Minister Farrakhan and a bunch of other guys who claim they're his successors, but whatever. You see? Yeah, exactly. I agree. Everything in commerce is not only fake, it's run by Satan. That's fine. That's fine. Let me tell you something. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to run a monetary system. I don't got no problem with that. Somebody has to run a monetary system. You see, it has to be a system here. It always has to be some sort of system, a monetary system. I got no problem with that. Because all people ain't stepping up to do nothing. So if people have to step in and make that organize and structure things, then so be it. It has to be that way until it's no more. Because right now we're living off of invisible currency. Right now we're living off of invisible currency. The paper don't mean nothing, and the gold didn't really mean nothing, right? Because you don't really know what gold was used for. Gold was about more than just trading it back and forth and people making jewelry out of it. No, gold was made as a precious metal to make things like weapons. It was supposed to be melted down and made into weapons, utensils, and things like that. That's what made gold valuable. Gold was not valuable. It was just a metal that could be utilized for, like I said, for weapons and things like that. That's what made it valuable. It was a practical use for gold. Y'all don't have no practical use for gold, just like it ain't no practical use for paper money. That's why you don't really see it no more. People barely use paper money now. They still do it, but it's gradually being phased out. And we coming into a time of digital currency, man. We already there, I should say. I don't know when the last time I held a dollar bill in my hand. I'm not even stressing it. You know what I'm saying? So my point is that you know, the people glorifying this, the people who act like they really about their life. Listen, ain't none of them niggas about their life. None of them. None of them. Nobody's about that life. They all trying to get out of jail. They want to go home. They tired of being locked up for 20, 30 years. They sitting up here, they crying in their jail cells. Because if you got babies out there, can you imagine your children growing up without you? Your daughter growing up without you? I got 4 daughters, man. I got 4 babies. You see, and they babies, literally babies. They like, my oldest daughter is 3 years old, man. I'm 50. I'm gonna be 55 years old. My oldest daughter, I'm 54 now. I'm gonna be 55. I had my children starting in my 50s. I didn't start having children to my 50s, literally. And I had, you know, took on young wives, 2 young wives, and you know, I made a family with them. I made babies. I made 4 girls. I got a son on the way with one of my wives. Got 2 wives. Because I had to have a family, man. My mindset was I came through all that shit. I came through it all by the skin of my nuts, raw and uncut. I came through it by the skin of my nuts. You know, having shotguns pulled on me, you know, niggas plotting to take me out of here, all kind of shit I was going through, having to, you know, do that. You see, having to put hands on people. I've been through all that. So I, you know, and I didn't have no babies at the time. I didn't have no children at the time. Thank Amen, hail Amen for that. I didn't want any babies because I would have had my children living in turmoil, man. I was just wild in the streets at that time. I wanted money. And I wasn't thinking about the penitentiary. I wasn't thinking about living in jail for the rest of my life. I didn't give a shit about nothing. Nothing. You see? Somebody said gold has intrinsic value. No, but see, they wasn't dealing with anything intrinsic. Y'all believe gold has intrinsic value only because you've been promoted. If nobody told you about gold or anything, or it had any value, it'd just be another piece of metal to you. So gold really has no intrinsic value other than the fact that it was used practically, because our people were pragmatic back then. It was just another metal to them. That's why, you know, they was wearing it around their neck, you know, melting it down, making utensils, weapons out of it. That's what gold was used for. Because in a lot of the old societies and civilizations, they found spears that our people had, because they had spears at the time with gold tips on them. They had gold, straight up gold tips on the spears. You know, arrows with gold, made out of gold, things like that. You see, so that was the metal. That was the metal that they used. Utensils. You definitely needed tools to hunt, right? You definitely needed tools to hunt. What was you gonna hunt with? Wasn't no goddamn guns. You needed this stuff to hunt with. They make guns. They was making guns out of metal and stuff. After a while, like I said, it had to have a practical use. All the intrinsic, could be all intrinsic, all that, you know, all that psychedelic shit, all you want to, all that, you know, spiritual shit. I call it, all that spiritual stuff I call psychedelic shit. BS. We deal with practicality over here. The practicality of the metal was to make weapons and to make utensils and whatever else you needed to basically, you know, have. You see, that was the practicality of it. We were practical people. Niggas are practical people, man. You see. We practical people all day. People are practical people all day. So, like I said, all the guys that talk all that tough guy stuff, these guys come and go, man. All that tough guy shit, all that these guys acting like they killers and all this other stuff, man, that stuff come and go, man. When the white man come and with that come and they come with the FBI, the whatever CI, whatever the hell they come with, whatever law enforcement, and they come and scoop y'all up, like what they doing with these gangs now, right? Hold on a second. Like what they doing with these gangs, right? They got niggas up here. They locking these guys up. These guys are supposed to be so-called rappers, right? And I listen to a lot of their raps, and to be honest with you, it's a lot of degenerate shit, man. These guys saying a lot of degenerate shit. A lot of these guys are basically poisoning the minds of the people. It's supposed to be entertainment. And like I said, I'm all for creativity and freedom of speech. I'm all for that. But when you start trying to, because you know these guys always say stuff like, "Oh, well, what we supposed to rap about? We come up in the hood. This is what we see, so this is what we talk about." I'm like, damn, but that's all y'all niggas talk about. That's all you talk about. You don't talk about nothing else. You see? Yeah, silver and gold are lawful money. But again, what was the practicality of it? What's the practicality of somebody, they talk about silver and gold are lawful money, but what's the practical use for it? I want to know what's the practical use for it other than just saying that it's you know, by just saying that it's has some value. What intrinsic value? That's only in the minds of people, man. That was put in the minds of people. Same way they put it in your mind that dollar bills is worth money. Because they had these guys come up here and always flashing dollar bills and big stacks and losing like a phone. That clown shit these guys used to do, you know, because they got a few dollars and you ain't going to do nothing but give it right back to the white man. Or most of that money they showing you is rented. They got rented money. You could rent money, right? You could rent money. These are the same niggas claim they got all this money, but then next thing you know, they got a damn slave deal, a slave contract from the record company that took out a life insurance policy on their ass, and they ain't getting no real money. They ain't getting no real residuals. They got to make their money doing shows. That's if people want to even deal with you. You see, they talk about that. Like I said, these guys acting, man. These guys act like they're getting money, getting robbed from whatever publishing they got. And to be honest with you, the so-called white man don't even want y'all niggas publishing, man, because y'all shit is trash. Y'all music is trash. So he would rather just take out the insurance policy on you niggas, man. They would rather just take out an insurance policy, watch you niggas crash out, getting beefs, go on these podcasts and be talking this bullshit about how y'all the biggest thugs and biggest gangsters and all this other. And y'all know damn well, once y'all get into jail, once you get in the feds, y'all gonna start crying like bitches. You ain't gonna want to stay in there for no 20, 30 years. You're gonna do all that chaos and confusion, and then you gotta be taken away and have your family taken away from you, have everything taken away from you to live in a cage. Is that worth it? Is that really worth it? I want to know, is it worth it to live like that? Is it worth it to sit up here and do all this criminal activity and then and think that there ain't no consequences coming with that? Listen, it's always consequences coming with everything you do. Everything. There's consequences with everything you do, good and bad. More bad you put out there, more bad consequences are coming for you. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. You see? You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Consequences are continuously coming. I don't see how y'all glorify any of this stuff, man. I'm not trying to sit in no white man's jail, man. I don't understand how y'all want to sit in a white man's jail for 20 fucking years, man, 30 years. And do you understand? I was like, I ain't never coming back. I did 7 months. And it felt like being in hell. I did 7 months. Picture me talking about 20 years. My father did 10 years in jail, man. My father did 10 years in jail. My father, you know, he went to jail in his 50s and came home in his late 60s. My father did 10 years in jail, and from his 50s to his 60s for killing somebody. It's already done now. He done been convicted of it. He done did his time, whatnot. He's done his public record. He killed his next door neighbor because the guy was talking crazy and popping shit to my sister and all this other stuff, starting with my father. You see, and my father, he stepped up to defend his daughter, my sister, but it cost him 10 years of his life. It cost him 10 years of his life for defending my sister. You see, and his grandchildren, and my sister's children, his grandchildren, cost him 10 years. You see, that's how easy it is. They didn't show no mercy to my father. You're saying he worked for the city and whatnot, and you know, he wouldn't get into no trouble or anything like that. You know, I mean, it is what it is. He did 10 years in the can, man. I don't know how he did it, man. I don't know how he did it. It is what it is. You see, got to be away from his family, but we was already grown when that happened. We was grown. So I'm like, man, you guys go to jail and you leave babies behind, you leave families behind, you leave women behind, you leave your mothers and you leave your family behind to go chase money. Is it really worth it? Is $1 million, $2 million? And you niggas don't even make that much money. But let's say some of you do. Listen, man, ain't no money worth me going to jail for the rest of my life, man. None. Ain't no money worth me going to jail for the rest of my life. The only time I would crash out, is over my family, over my babies, over my children, man, my wives. That's the only time I'm gonna crash the fuck out. If somebody mess with them. That's the only thing that we're gonna have a problem. A huge one. You see, but don't fuck with my family. But anything else, man, it ain't worth the money. I'm not going to jail for no money. I'm not committing no crimes for no money. Money ain't worth it. The white man's money, that's his money, man. That's his paper that you playing with, which is just paper. But see, a lot of these young guys, to tell you the truth, a lot of these young guys, you know why they do this, why they glorify this? Because 9 times out of 10, they wasn't raised by their father. They didn't have nobody telling them not to get involved in this. Don't get caught up in no gangs, because all you're going to do is end up in jail, or you're going to end up dead in the street. That's all the gang life is bringing you, the so-called gang culture or the street culture. It's nothing but death. It's nothing but death. You see? You get mixed up in that, you around that type of stuff, it's nothing but death. Like this guy right now, Big U, the guy Big U. Again, I'm not getting into I don't know their business. Again, I'm going to just say it like this. You around people who do activity like that, you're going to get caught up. And like I said, if you around these kind of people, if you surround yourself, again, your past catch up to you. Let's say if the guy, he didn't do anything, he, like he said, he wasn't, but, you just associating with these people, living around these people, dealing with these people, like I said, it's going to come back to you. If you participated in some sort of, if you participated in some sort of thing where you had to put somebody down or y'all was doing some gang shit, it's going to come back to you, because trust me, whoever saw you do that, the niggas who you think is your set, your clique, your people, ain't going to listen. Them niggas, if they get pressed, they get caught up on some drug shit or anything, they get pressed, they telling whatever they could tell to get out of jail free. None of them niggas want to go to jail. None of them want to go to jail. And the only reason why they go to jail is because there's nobody for them to tell on. Don't stop believing that them niggas ain't, they keep it a buck. They ain't snitching, because there's nobody to snitch on. There's nobody to snitch on. That's why they not snitching. You see? They ain't nobody to tell on. You see? That's why they do that. Again, if they could tell, the only person I say who even John Gotti, they talk about how he wouldn't snitch, how he wouldn't do this. They didn't want him to snitch. They didn't care about John Gotti snitching. They got who they wanted, John Gotti. They wanted John Gotti. So it wasn't nobody for John Gotti to snitch on. Listen, let me tell you something. Like what you see with these RICO things going on, where they locking up all you guys who in these gangs and stuff. Let me tell you something. That's just really something to take you so-called black men off the street. They're giving y'all RICO charges. RICO charges. Do you know who the RICO charge was set for? For the Italian mafia, the Cosa Nostra. That was set for them because they had criminal enterprise and whatnot, which still go on today. Funny how, I'm going to show you how it's funny how there's racism even in this criminal shit. Funny how they still around, right? Now a lot of their people went to jail. John Gotti went to jail. All the mafia bosses, even though they was old as shit, and a bunch of them went to jail. But why is the structure still intact? Why is the mafia structure, the Cosa Nostra structure, still intact? Why hasn't the government taken them down? Don't tell me that's not because of racism. But when it come to y'all, you niggas can't be out there for 10 minutes. They got all y'all up. They come to everybody's house. They actively locking y'all up. They lock you niggas up for being for rap lyrics. My point in that being is that it's not for y'all. It's not in the cards for y'all. Y'all need to cut out this gangster shit because it's not going to work for y'all. You see, you ain't going to go out like John Gotti and mob. Well, shit, look how John Gotti went out. He white. He died in the cell and he white. So you see how they do their own kind. You think they care about locking your ass up forever or giving you the death penalty? You think they care about that? You better think again. They're gonna be lenient on their own kind. They're gonna show more respect for their own kind. You ain't their kind. So whenever y'all start talking that shit about, oh, it ain't right how they do us black, don't get black now. Don't get so-called black now and get on and start complaining about how the white man treats you. Did you give a shit about how you treated your own kind? Did you care about how you treated your own people? Did you care about beating your own people, shooting your own people, doing all this, making your own people drink pee and all that shit that Suge Knight sat up there and laughed about? Ain't nothing funny about that. He thought that was funny. Ain't nothing funny about that. That's what you call an old fool. That's what you call an old fool. A nigga that they ain't learned his lesson. That's what you call an old fool ass nigga who ain't learned his lesson. And all you old niggas are sitting up here still talking about the set and all this other shit. You niggas are fools too, man. You niggas are old fools. A whole lot of old ass nigga fools out there. Raw and uncut. I said it. It's a whole bunch of old fools out there. Niggas who ain't learned their lesson. Niggas who got a demonic energy on it. And you know where that come from? You know where that really come from? Like I said, a lot of you was raised by the black woman, the liberated black female. Excuse me. This ain't no disrespect to all bronze women out there, but the liberated black females out here who raised you by themselves, who y'all ain't had no father in your house. You know what I'm saying? If your father was around, the nigga was around here and there to lay up with your mama and then got about his business. He didn't really care about investing no time and energy into you, because if he did, he would have stayed around and say, nah, my son ain't going to be out here in those streets. My son ain't going to be part of no gang. My son ain't going to be in those streets to be another statistic, another stereotype. No, my son is going to be a doctor. My son is going to be a lawyer. My son is going to be something of importance for his people, a credit to his race, the almond race, the bright race, the so-called black race. Y'all embrace nonsense. Y'all embrace garbage ass shit. Y'all embrace criminal behavior and activity. It's nothing cool about that. Y'all look up to that. But the very same people you look up to, they fear the white man. They fear the white man and his justice system, his criminal justice system that could lock their black asses up. So again, I'm not trying. I never was a fan of being a hoe for anybody. When you niggas go to jail, you hoes for the white man. You niggas, what do they do when they get in jail? You know what they start trying to do? They want to start cleaning and cooking and getting on the cooking staff. You know, when they didn't want a job when they was in the street, but then they start sweeping up floors for 5 cents an hour, whatever the hell they give y'all, or working in the kitchen or cleaning up the jail and having chores like little boys. They treat you like little boys. You go from men to boys. You go from men to boys. They got you in there cleaning the prison up and all this other stuff, doing little jobs, and you want to get on the cooking staff while you dumb niggas in there cutting each other, talking shit, asking for commissary, still trying to act like, you acting like you ain't in a damn cage like a monkey. You acting like you ain't in the cage like a monkey, and y'all want to live that way. What you should be doing, you should be telling these young boys, you guys that have survived that, or if you really went through, a lot of these guys claim they was in that life and about that life. But man, listen, man, a lot of these dudes be lying, man. A lot of these dudes be lying. They be remixing shit because, 20, 30 years later, whatever, people could remix their stories, act like they was doing this, or act like they was about, making more out of what they was in their time in the streets than what it really was. A lot of these guys, they was in the streets, and they was like, they really wasn't shit in the streets. They wouldn't act like they was. And even if you was getting money in the streets, why glorify that? What did you really do? It ain't like you turned it into nothing. Why glorify that? Why glorify gang culture? Why glorify street culture, so-called street culture, and try to make it something than what it is? Oh, hood politics. I heard Tariq Nasheed say that shit, man. It should. They don't tell. And I notice you guys, the black conscious community, y'all ain't real enough to tell young black men or tell or just y'all never really say, don't be in the gangs, don't be gangbangers, don't be drug dealers, don't do this to your people, don't degrade yourself like that, because all you going to do is give yourself over to the so-called white man. That's all you doing. That's all you doing. Eazy-E and them made money by making lyrics that basically open so-called black people up to gang culture and gang lifestyle. That's why they made money. They pay y'all niggas money to rap about killing each other, selling drugs to each other, all kinds of depraved shit. That's what they pay you to do. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear you degrade yourselves You niggas, it's just like minstrel show shit. How they paid black people, our so-called black people, to put on blackface and eat watermelon and tap dance and play the stereotypical role that the so-called white man wants y'all to play, and you niggas play it well. You rappers, you play it well. You rappers, you niggas ain't nothing but a bunch of modern day minstrel show coons, man. Because that's how I seen Biggie and Tupac, I'll be honest with you. I saw the niggas as minstrel show coons, man. Tupac, honestly, I saw them as minstrel show coons. I never liked their music, man, because it always seemed phony, all that thug shit. Like, it's just niggas who wanted attention, man. Niggas just wanted attention, man. That shit ain't cool, man. Like I said, you niggas talk all that gang stuff and all that, the set this and the set that. Like I said, when you niggas go to jail, see how much the set give a shit about you. See how much the set care about you. The set ain't sending you no money. The set, if your woman look good, the niggas on the set trying to screw your woman, right? They're gonna be trying to get up in your one or your daughter. They're gonna be trying to get up on. That's the life y'all want to live. They're the type of people you want to be around. But then now you want to sit up here and do podcasts and whatnot and talk about how bad you niggas was in the street. You niggas ain't shit, man. Because again, you were sellouts to your own people. And like I said, y'all never got that kind of smoke or energy for the so-called white man. For all the people that Suge Knight done bullied and punked out and whatnot, it was a real short list of white people. They say it was the guy, what's the nigga, the white boy name? What's the white boy name? Vanilla Ice. He didn't do it to none of them crackers with the money. He ain't do that with none of them crackers with the money. He ain't threatened none of them. But he do it to his own kind. To do what? To do what? To try to make yourself look bad, to make you look feed, to make you look like a gangster. That's bitch shit. That's bitch shit. Raw and uncut, that's a bitch mentality. To want to bully people, to want to use your brawn to bully people, you see, that's bitch shit. You see, that's not no real man. You know what that is? That's the spirit of a fucking female, man. That's the spirit of a female. That's the spirit of niggas that was raised by females, not no real men in the house. You was raised by females because how you niggas, I know how you know that? It's because them niggas, what they always talking about, oh, my mama this and my mama that, and my mama this and my mama that. My mama this, my mama that, my mama this, my mama that. Where your daddy at? Where your father at? You see, I was raised with my father. My father raised me and my brother. He raised us all, and my sisters. He raised us. My father was in the house. That's why I didn't get in trouble in the streets. He kept me out of trouble. My father kept me out of trouble because he was always in trouble for most of his life. He settled down, got himself together, but he kept me out the street. He didn't allow me to be out in those streets and no time of night like that. I was straight, straight by the book type of person. I went to college and everything. But then when I got loose from that whole environment, my father, that structured environment, my mother and father broke up, we was, grown. And, I was 18, 19 years old. I'm still young. I just, I was like, man, trying to work little jobs and whatnot, security and every other shit. And I was like, man, you know what? I went in the streets, man. I went in the streets. I went into the streets, into the street life, and I just was like, I'm gonna just make money because like I said, I like the independence of it. But never, in no way was I ever about none of this street culture. Yeah, dear mama. Yeah, Tupac talk all that thug shit, but this was the same dude that was up there, up north in Clinton. When he was up there in Clinton, he was scared to death, man. Tupac was scared to death in jail. I know niggas that was up in jail with him. He barely said 2 words to niggas. He wasn't really talking. He stayed in his cell and all that. See, because, when the cameras ain't rolling and you ain't got a gun and they claim Tupac could take off and start fighting with people, he didn't have that kind of energy on Rikers Island when he went through there, and he damn sure didn't have that type of energy up in Clinton. You see, he didn't have that kind of energy up there. And then when you come out of jail, you start all that, I'm a thug and thug life nonsense. Tupac is where he is because of Tupac. Suge is where he is because of Suge. Diddy is where he is because of Diddy. Biggie is where he is because of Biggie. He came out with an album, Ready to Die. Well, he was ready to die. He had that short bit of success. And like I said, he clocked out. And y'all glorify this dude, man. Y'all glorify. I'm trying to understand why people glorify Biggie. All he ever talked about is selling drugs as people and all kind of crazy degenerate shit. That's all and he made like one album and you know, whatever in the second one. And y'all glorify this. You glorify this. But people who had real stuff to say who was rhyming, y'all don't glorify them. About uplifting our people, you don't glorify them. You glorify the low lives. You glorify niggas rapping about low life shit who ain't even really been in that shit like that. You know? Yeah, Biggie sold some crack and all this other stuff, and you know, he talk about it and whatever the case is, and niggas acting like they was about to get some money. Oh man, whatever, man. You see, what's missing in these homes is fathers, man. Fathers are missing in these homes, man. Fathers is missing in these homes. You see? Yeah, Pac stayed in his cell and kept his mouth shut. And he even did an interview. He's like, yo, he was scared. He's like, yeah, you know, you could tell somebody, say something bad to somebody, they'll kill you on the spot, man. It was a pressure cooker up there. Niggas doing life ain't never coming home and whatnot. And and you famous and whatever the case is, and you know, niggas will just take you out, but they're gonna give him more time. Tupac knew where he was. You see, his big mistake was coming out here to New York and hanging around street niggas. You see, street niggas who he had no business around. You see, he was around street niggas who he had no business around, trying to be down with shit you ain't down. Niggas know you ain't one of them. You fooled. You was fooled to them. They used you. Them niggas used Tupac. They used Biggie. All them niggas used you. All them hangers on used them. They too stupid to see it because they young and they dumb and full of cum. You so don't know when niggas is using them. You see, they had talent, you know, and of course you're gonna have them hangers on. They got talent, and like I said, that's what a lot of the so-called gang culture is. A lot of these niggas, like I said, these are the guy who the head or the guys who could really, you know, fight, the guys who really solid. They get a bunch of hangers around them who not really about that life. And that's usually what the gang is. You might have maybe one real dude, one or two real dudes in the set, and then the rest of them niggas is full of shit, man. A lot of them niggas just hangers on, man. They get charged, and a lot of them niggas is punks, man. A lot of them niggas is soft. You see, and when they really get down to it, they only bad with the set, with the gang, or when they got a gun or a knife in their hand. But if they got to use their hands, they ain't shit, man. You see, that's real talk. Cowards. People trying to be something they not. People glorifying BS, man. That was a damn shame. Suge sit up in jail. Like I said, he could have been a legit businessman if he didn't surround himself with foolishness that he let himself be surrounded with. Like I said, a lot of these people, man, they got demonic energy on them, man. A lot of demonic ass energy on them. You see, one of the things I will say that Suge said in his interview on Art of Dialogue was that most of these guys, and he was right about that, most of these guys, the majority of these guys are in here because of a female, right? They in there because of a female, because they was trying to get money when they was selling drugs so that they can impress females, right? So they could buy to get with the females, because that's what you guys hustle and do, sell drugs and do all this stuff. You do it because you trying to impress females. That's all, because you niggas is kind of lame and goofy, and a lot of you guys probably couldn't get females back then. Like Tupac, I'm not saying he didn't get women, but once he became the thug nigga, you know what I'm saying, start acting like that, that's when he started getting a lot of women. That's when he became super handsome then, right? But these guys do all this stuff. They sell drugs. They do all this shit. They do all this stuff just to impress females, to get females, right? You gang bang. You try to do all that, you know, you try to get money to get females, or you try to be part of something because you want to impress females. Or a lot of you niggas is really sodomites. You want to be around males because you like that man on man energy, if you know what I mean. A lot of them guys is around you in the gangs are sodomites, man. And when they go to jail, you find out the niggas is sodomite. They messing with punks. You see, I saw some punk activity when I was them niggas didn't wait to get to prison. I seen some punk activity when I was in jail. You know, I ain't, you know, on the low. They just, when we walking by, you see some shit. You see, a lot of these dudes, like I said, they got a feminine spirit, man. They got an effeminate spirit on them. That's why they got to be fighting all the time. Everything got to be about, it's up. You want to fight all the time, cut, shoot, or stab. That's some emotional shit, man. A lot of these guys are emotional like females. You see, a lot of these guys are emotional like females. You see? Yeah, like a female. See, look what you just said in June. They use all that drug money to buy cars and jewelry. Ain't that some shit females do? Men, listen, let me tell you something what men do. If I'm selling drugs, I'm selling major drugs, that money getting stashed somewhere. I'm gonna start a business with that. I got an exit plan. And that's what I was working toward. I was trying to get an exit plan. I was like, I'm gonna make this amount of money, I'm gonna invest in this, and I'm out. That was my mindset. I was building up to that. I wasn't in here. I ain't buying no cars. I ain't wearing no jewelry. I had my little car to get around, but I wasn't trying to be flashy. I was trying to stack my paper. And I was trying to get into business. And I didn't want nobody knowing what I did. I didn't want no violence. I had a couple of spots. Yeah, I had a couple of spots. Yes, I did. But I wasn't trying to be flashy. You see? I wasn't trying to be flashy. I didn't want no fucking jewelry. I didn't want no goddamn Mercedes Benz. I didn't want that. That's a target. You putting a target on your back. That's a female mentality. The female take the money and blow it. And you know you niggas got a female mentality because what you got to show for it? How you niggas make millions of dollars, then go to jail for 20, 30 years, come home and you niggas is broke. You sold all that poison. You mean to tell me you niggas didn't stash that money? You bought jewelry and cars? You didn't put money aside for a business. You wasn't investing in businesses like strip clubs. As much as you niggas go to the strip club, you niggas didn't buy the strip club. As much as you dumb niggas go to the strip club, they're always making money. You didn't say, I'm gonna buy this shit and make some money. I'm gonna buy these. I'm gonna have these little clubs. I'm gonna have this over here. I'm gonna have that over there. Have people managing your shit that you could trust. That show you that these niggas got the mind of females, man. Beefing with each other. Nigga, we making money. When is the beef? We all making money. What's the beef? We ain't trying to be loud with this shit. That's female behavior. That's female behavior. The hell are you beefing about? We all getting money. We trying to keep the noise down. We don't want no problem. We don't want no fiends out here. We don't want nobody getting shot. We want the fiends to get their product and keep it moving. That was my policy anyway, back when I was in the street. There weren't no guns around on my spots, but it was close by in case of trouble with the niggas. But that's another story. You know, it is what it is. So, I want everybody, because we coming up now. We're coming up on the time of the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. I want you all to go and hit that link and donate to the American Indigenous Street and Music Festival so that we can have our own festival for who we truly are, representing who we are as American Indigenous people. Bronze American Indigenous people, the real American Indians, the real Mesoamericans, the real American Indigenous culture, the real Americans. That's us. Go to that link right now. Hit the AI Festival. Can everybody see that link in there? We coming up. Like I said, let's bring it to $4,000. Like I said, let's bring it up to $4,000. I'm gonna put some money in there. Let's bring it up. I'm putting money into. We're gonna make this happen. We need another. After we hit the $4,000 mark, we need another 11K. If everybody's on here that's listening donates like $20, $30, whatever case to it. And like I said, please be patient with me. Those people who donated 60 and better, 100 and better. Please be patient. Those who donated 100, you're going to get 3 shirts. I'm giving y'all 3 shirts. Those who from my Underlord company, you know, those who donated, I'm giving you 3 shirts. I'm putting all that money to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. It's not going in my pocket. We need porta toilets. They got to be paid for, the stage, all that. So we need another $11,000. So if y'all go and put $40, $50 in there, at least if you put at least $60, I'm gonna give you a shirt. If you put a little over 60 something, I'm gonna give you 2 shirts. Throw $70, you got 2 shirts coming. I'm giving away shirts from my Underlord company. That's the workout brand and whatnot. They nice shirts, ringer tees and whatnot. So, you know, I've been sending them out, and you know, just keep, you know, let's just make this happen, man. Because we got, like I said, we hitting the 4,000 mark. Can everybody see that? Can everybody see that? The American Indigenous Street Music Festival link. Can everybody see that? Want to make sure everybody can see that. All right, so we can let me see. All right. Make sure everybody see that. Hit that link. Donate. Let me see. I'm gonna copy the link. Better World Org campaign. I'm gonna put it in there. Let me copy that. Put it in there. So can everybody please hit that link? We're doing this street festival. We're doing the street festival in Atlanta. I just put it in there. Everybody donate to that. We're doing the street festival. We're gonna make this happen. Right? We need our own festival. We need our own festival. We need our own thing to happen. Right? Somebody said, look at Black's wealth. Look at Black's wealth from 60s to current. They rode the poverty line in the whole entire way, the whole time. Yeah. And you know why that happened? Because, like I said, our people refuse to come together. We refuse to be a community. You know why poverty happens in our neighborhoods? Why? It's because we're not becoming a real community. See, when you have a real community, like, for example, the Jewish community, you see how the Jewish community, they have respect for one another. They do business with one another. They protect the community. That's how we're supposed to be as American Indigenous people. As American Indigenous people, not Black people, not African Americans, not all these crazy, but as an American community, that's how we're supposed to be, because we're the only real Americans here. We're the only real Americans that didn't come from no place else. We're not African. We are American Indigenous. We came from South and Central America into North America. The first people as the Mayans and the Aztecs. That was our trajectory. That was our path. We did not come on no African slave ships from nowhere. Nobody brought us from nowhere like no cargo. We were already here, and they just forced us to work for them. And I'm going to always keep giving you that real narrative, that real truth, because this is what the foundation of who we are is based on, and it's being hidden from us. It's being hidden from us that we the real American Indians. We the real American Indians, not African Americans, the real American Indians. So yeah, we need to have this American Indigenous Street Festival. Yes, we do. We need to have this American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Go in there, hit that link. Let's bring it up, please. Y'all just, give what you can, or you can stand $20 here, 40, 60, give them in increments, 20, 40, 60. Like I said, I'll send you out shirts so we can, we can like make this happen, man. Let's have this good exchange. It's necessary. So I'm about to wrap this up. But man, down with that goddamn deaf culture, down with the deaf culture, man. Make it, let's live. Down with the damn deaf culture, man. Down with the deaf culture. Up with the life culture. The American Indigenous Street Music Festival represents a next life for our people. It represents a next life where we can leave the whole Black thing behind, because our skin is not Black. We're not Black people. We're bronze people. We're bronze skinned people. Bronze people, as I like to say. We're bronze copper colored people. We're bronze skinned people. So we can leave that behind, and we are American, thoroughly and indigenous and national American. We are the only real Americans here. Everybody else is not American. They came from elsewhere, be it Europe, be it Asia, be it Africa. We was the only Americans here. And we need to celebrate that. So hit that link, please hit that link. Let's get it up to, we almost up to $4,000. Let's push it over the number. Let's keep going. Let's keep, if you pledge to give like $40 or whatever the case may be, we could do that. Support that. You see, let's support this. Let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. Let's make it happen in a real way, because this festival is going to be a place for networking. We're going to be networking, meeting our people. I'm going to be out there running my mouth, It's because our people need to do better, man. This is the way we start to do better. This is the way we start to heal, because all of this poison, all this degeneracy, all this demonic behavior that has permeated our neighborhoods. I'm not even going to call it a community, because there's no such thing as a Black community. There's no such thing. Our neighborhoods, the drugs, gangs, loose females out here, baby mamas, abortions, all this stuff that was happening in our neighborhoods. Again, one or two things have to happen. And I say the first thing is because you're never going to be able to stop the degeneracy. We're never going to be able to stop it because that is embedded in the so-called Black community. That degenerate behavior is embedded in the so-called Black community and the so-called African American community. That's why I say I can't be part of that. I can't be part of no Black community. I can't be part of no African American community. I can't, because there's too much degeneracy there. It's too many niggas that glorify gang banging and drug dealing and chicks twerking their ass and prostituting themselves and whole culture. No, man. We can't raise our babies on that. We can't raise our babies on Uzi Vert and Young M.A. and whoever the hell else and Sexy Red. No, we can't raise our babies on that. That's foolishness. That's garbage. That is garbage. We don't feed our babies garbage. Let's stop feeding our children garbage. Let's give them a good meal to digest. Let's give them the knowledge of who they are as American indigenous people. Let's give them the knowledge of who they are as American indigenous people, our children. And again, I'm not worried about the so-called Black race, because the so-called Black race, they're not going to accept the truth no matter what you say to them. So again, let's have this evolution. Those of you who are listening, because a lot of you maybe misunderstood me when I said that we need to separate from the so-called Black race. But let me double down back on it. We as American indigenous people, we as true Americans, the original American, the real Americans by nationality, we as Americans need to separate from those who want to degrade themselves, who want to embrace a death culture. This festival represents the rebirth of our American indigenous roots. And we don't need no Black people with us, man. Let them be African Americans, let them be Negroes, let them be Black, let them be degenerates. You can't change none of that. Certain people are just marked for that, just to be part of that. And you got others who want to live life. We want to live life. And the only way to live life is to live by truth. Simple as that. The only way to live life is to live by truth, man. The truth is we the Americans. We are the Americans, not African Americans, but American by nationality. Like you got the Italians who are native, who are indigenous to Italy. You got the English who are indigenous to England. You got, even though it was bronze people there before them, but we the Americans who are indigenous to America. This is our country. This is our country. Our country. And we need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate that as American indigenous people. There are other people are Native Americans. Again, I told you the term Native American means people who come from elsewhere and anchor themselves here into this land and started having children. Their children from there on are known as Native Americans. We are not Native Americans. We are American indigenous people. And we need to celebrate that, because this is the first time we have been able to celebrate who we are as American indigenous people without African being connected to it, without Black being connected to it, without Juneteenth being connected to it. Because again, we celebrating our American indigenous heritage. I don't care what tribes or families, because all y'all who got family going back to the 1800s, who family was here during the slavery and all this stuff in the South, and even going back, you are American Indians, man. They didn't bring no Africans over here. They made the American indigenous people work for them. They caught our people up as prisoners of war, and who was fighting as the indigenous people, as the real American Indians fighting against these crackers. And they caught our people as prisoners of war and put them on plantations. That was the penitentiary. That was your penance system, to work forever as a slave. That's how they put our people in slavery. They used law, and they used the enforcement of that law and labeled us as criminals for fighting for our freedom. That's why I hate when I see people like the Tupacs and all them, because they get it twisted. They start talking about this freedom fighter stuff. 1 minute you niggas talking about freedom fighting and F the white man, but then you niggas want to sell drugs and be around the so-called white man. And Tupac was a coon, man. Tupac wanted to name his son Giovanni after a white man, after an Italian white man. He told me he wanted to name his son Giovanni. A lot of these guys are Sambos, man. A lot of you thugs and gangster niggas is coons and Sambos. You love the so-called white man. Y'all, a lot of you niggas love the racist white man. You love being around Caucasians more than you love your own people. You never hear these niggas talking about how they did white people this way or that. They don't do the other races. They don't talk about that. They talk about how they abuse their own people. How sick and degenerate is that? You see? Exactly. Yeah, chinos, that's what they are. So again, they got pissed off when they pissed off now when we saying we American indigenous people. They pissed off at that. But so what? So what? It's the truth. Again, I told you people want us to be stereotypical people. They want us to be black, African American niggas, stereotypical niggas who sell dope and drugs and glorify crime and loose females and all this other shit. Nah, man. Nah. This is what we need to draw the line, man. For those of you who are decent people who agree with what I'm saying, please hit that Cash App. Hit that Cash App up so that we can network, we can come together as the American indigenous community, because this is what we are becoming. We are an American indigenous community, separate from the black community, separate from so-called African Americans who are also American indigenous, but their minds are gone, man. Their minds are gone. We don't want black people with us because they're gonna bring their degeneracy with them. Niggas gonna bring their shit to the picnic or the cookout. We don't want them with us. Let them stay in the hood and be African Americans, man, and slaughter each other. Because there ain't nothing else you can do about that. Yeah, Tupac called himself Machiavelli, man. Tupac was a coon, man. He was a Sambo, you know. He man, they took all the stuff he was doing, man, spitting in his own people's faces, whatnot. That's what Suge said. I'm like, see, you like to degrade your own kind, disrespect people. I got a demon on him anyway, man. Because he even said at one point, well, I guess when the demon got off him, he's like, man, I'm putting thug all on my back. I'm doing this, that, and the third. That's that demonic culture, man. That thug culture is demonic culture, man. And it's driven by a female spirit, man, a female demonic spirit. You see? It's driven by a female demonic spirit that don't care about consequences, don't care about right and wrong. All I want to do is get money so I could go get me a car and some jewelry and some clothes like a female. You risking your life for material things. That's demonic as hell, man. You risking your freedom for material things. Stuff that come and go, man. You could have figured out a way to make that money other than risking your life, man. Man, but I'm about to wrap this up, man. So please hit this link down below, man. Hit the link down below for those of our people who want to be part of the American indigenous community that's coming. And we're going to be networking there at the American Indigenous Street Music Festival, because we need to network amongst ourselves, man. And I don't care if it's a small number. Again, man, you know, this is supposed to, let this be the purification for our people. You see, it's a reason why, I'm about to wrap this up in a second, but there's a reason why our people, you know, are coming into the knowledge of who they are as American Indians, American indigenous people, I should say. There's a reason why, because that, to me, I feel as though it's meant to be a form of purification. It's meant to be a form of purification because of all this time we've been calling ourselves black people and African Americans and Negroes and all this other stuff. You know, that's meant to be a state of purification. Us becoming American indigenous people and leaving the black alone, the African alone, and just being Americans, just straight up first American people, knowing who we are by American, by nationality, that's a step in the right direction, man. So we can stop sitting up here having a bunch of goddamn foreigners telling us we need to go back to Africa when we never came from Africa in the first place. Lying about don't know our heritage, just telling us, and they damn foreigners. But that's all I got. So again, I'm going to put the link in. Let's bring this money up. Let's make it happen. Pledge, if y'all really like what I'm saying, y'all want to see me in public, y'all want to meet me, I'm going to be at the festival. I'm going to be there running my mouth. Come up and shake my hand. But don't come too close because I'm going to have my peoples with me. So don't come too close. Don't, just, I'm going to dap me up and whatnot, fist, all that shit. All that slick nigga shit, whatever. But, come on out. And let's make this happen. Let's make the American Indigenous Street Music Festival happen. And that's it. So I'm going to close this message out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. And Amen we trust. And Amen we thank it. And Amen we continue forward forever as the Amen race. So what I want to close out with. The earth, the wind. And let me see. Because I've been getting YouTube strikes. Not strike, because I don't monetize my channel, man. I told you, I don't care about the YouTube money, man. I don't care about that. I like playing music that resonates with our people. And That's what it is. Trying to get down here. I want to play some. Yeah, they hit me. Let me see. Some new Earth. Well, they ain't new, but it's new to my list. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Good night.